world is all talking about, it's all about digital, and the terminologies are changing as we evolve. The way consumers are evolving, the technology is evolving. But the basic difference between the digital business methodology and the digital transformation is primarily, if you ask me, digital business methodology is a Uber umbrella, and digital transformation is a subset of it. Let me just give the way the digital business methodology works, right? The digital business methodology is all about what is happening in the current industry across all domains. It's not specific to fintech or automobile or retail or e-commerce or whatever it is. Everything is going, all the business is going into digital business methodology model, be it bank or be it in any e-commerce online solution or any grocery store. Everybody's becoming digital business methodologies, right? So which means everything we do, it's all about digital business, and how the business is getting evolved is a methodology around it, which includes a process of technology, a process of getting things done in the project manner, or transforming the people itself. That's the methodology to get the digital business. And it also includes infrastructure and investments and around it. The transformation is all about, there are a lot of organization which has been evolved in the last 30, 40 years. There's still a very legacy model, and some of them have gone to different maturity in terms of be ready for the digital business, in terms of are they ready for evolving into a digital commerce? Are they ready for evolving into a digital, like a digital model, digital business per se? For that to happen, their existing infrastructure and the process and the people have to transform. That's what we call as a digital transformation, right? From a legacy like a mainframe or legacy old technologies and legacy infrastructure into bringing it to the digital transformation, where the application, the infrastructure is ready for supporting digital business model. That is where the digital transformation stops. But the digital business methodology means using this technology and the process and the people, how are we being relevant in the industry at the given juncture, especially post-COVID. You've learned during COVID, we don't need a brick and mortar store. We don't need physical people to handshake to make a business deal done. Everything is completely virtual, right? So that actually expedited the whole digital business model, which is why we're trying to put a method around it to ensure the business, whatever we do, is relevant to what is happening in the industry, relevant to what is happening in the demand and supply, and relevant to what the consumer is looking for. That's a methodology which takes the demand and supply to the consumer or the customer, is where the methodology comes in. Digital transformation is keeping the house ready to support the digital business methodology. That's where my difference is. Business methodology is all about how can we use the infrastructure and the platform to put to use for the digital business. That's the digital business methodology. It involves various aspects of it, right? First of all, people were skilled differently. And the people who's actually evolving and enabling the business could be a domain experts, could be a technology guys, or could be a technology means it's infrastructure and application developers, right? All put together, the program managers, project managers, all of them put together. All of them have to combine to support the digital business that is evolving. But these people have not evolved in the last 1 or 2 years, right? They've been doing this domain subject matter expert and the technology which is evolving from mainframes to Java to whatever is currently. They've been doing that. But since the digital evolution came in, things have expedited very faster. So for them to be prepared, both infrastructure-wise, process-wise, people, culture-wise, there's a methodology which is very, very important. Otherwise, what happens? It's like, imagine a driver, ambassador driver, the ambassador car, which used to be the car in India. If the same driver, can he drive an electric vehicle or the cutting edge, maybe the latest car? So how is he evolving from that car to the latest car driving capability? That is one side of it. Other one is supporting this entire car from the technology perspective. EV is all about, now if you take India, every third car you see on the road, I'm not exaggerating, is actually a vehicle car. Which means the infrastructure need to be ready for it. For that, people have to be ready for it, both the consumer side of it and the supporter side of it. That is the infrastructure side of it and the platform side of it. If you take technology as an like an enabler and entire aspect of it, every domain is evolving differently. Automobile is evolving into smart car mobility and completely driverless electric vehicles, which was all completely unheard of, right? I was in San Francisco a month ago and I saw a car with no driver in it. And people are hopping in and hopping out. It's a cab, right? You just hop in and hop out. It is never even possible, even can't even think about it. It's very, very scary, right? So imagine the transformation that has happened from a manual car to automation car to self-driven car. That it is evolved completely. So that is what I'm saying, from the digital, from the completely manual to digitally driven car is going digital. And the e-commerce is going digital. And everything you see is digital, right? So that's the complete digital commerce and digital economy, for which a digital business methodology supports it. Like I said, infrastructure is involved in the part of digital methodology, where it's all completely cloud, right? Everything is not physical infrastructure on-prem. And now everything is going dual cloud and multi-cloud. Like we have GCP, we have Azure, we have AWS. So people are using all kind of cloud infrastructure so that they don't have to invest more on infrastructure. They're investing on more features and function that is required for their products than investing more in infrastructure. So the entire infrastructure is going cloud. So which means you don't have to own infrastructure. They only have to own the service. Very similar to Uber, right? The Uber cars, the Ola cars in India. Ola doesn't own any car or own any driver. The business is driven and managed by the consumers and the service provider, which is the drivers. And the car is owned by somebody else. Some driver is driving the car and some passenger is getting into it. That's the complete digital business. You don't even know the driver. You don't even know where the company is, where the organization is, but you get the service completely in a virtual model. And physically, where consumer feels they are able to use the car without knowing the driver, without knowing the provider of the car, right? So that itself is a complete, I would say, epitome of the digital transformation that is happening now from the business perspective. When I talk about the digital transformation, digital platform, these are the platforms. The entire AWS or the cloud services, everything is becoming as a digital platform. And the whole DevSecOps, where around that, the platform needs to be enabled from the data perspective and the DevOps perspective, the QE perspective, the SRE perspective. We need to create a platform which is ready for a digital transformation where the business can be built on top of it. Gone are those days where you have to own anything. For example, another example I would quote is Airbnb. They don't own, I'm not using this as a customer, I'm just saying this as an example. Airbnb is providing a service for you to go stay in a home or a room without even knowing who the owner of the room is. And you can just hop in and hop out without paying anything. And that itself is an infrastructure owned physically by somebody else, services provided by somebody else, and the service utilizer is somebody else. So all that is, in a nutshell, is becoming very digitally enabled business platform and supported by the digital platform, which is the core services underneath that, be it payment services completely online, and be it the service by, if you want a home, if you want a room, if you want a car, or if you want some grocery, those are the services which is enabled by the digital platform, which consists of the complete infrastructure is in completely cloud. And that is where the platform is getting evolved. And it is evolving very, very rapidly, where we don't know how it is going to evolve, where you don't need to own anything at all. Even including code services that could be managed by somebody else, could be developing an application for you. And to that extent, everything is becoming as a service, which is enabled by the digital platform, which is very, very crucial. When the platform is completely digital, business becomes easy to evolve on top of it. Technologies is like even 2 years ago, it was very different. Now, if you take the entire UI UX technology, is very, very different than what it was earlier. and the core services becoming different. The data services is becoming different. But how I would quantify or qualify this technology evolution is, it's not going to stop, right? The concept of how you use the data and the technology is very, very critical. And today, if you take Java, is still a primary technology from the application perspective. And if you take the Pythons and things like that, are very important from the data perspective. If you take the UI UX, it's all going Gen AI, all of that. The Gen AI is actually going to change the entire visual of technology, visual of service, and visual of what we thought the services look like will be changed by the Gen AI, which is the latest and the greatest, which everybody's evolving. But all put together, data is going to be very, very critical, which we call a single source of truth, right? If you take an organization, the various departments in an organization, like an employee information, inventory information, service information, or any of the information in an organization is all stored in different form, in a physical form, or maybe in a different matured form. Bringing all this data into a common format is called single source of truth, which is very, very critical. In data, things are evolving very, very different. Data meshes are the latest technology, which is evolved, which is consolidating all the data in a very organized form that could be in a usable way, and which could be used for artificial intelligence, or could be even for machine learning, or for data science, which data comprises a combination of all this data could be evolved for Gen AI, right? The generative artificial intelligence, which is becoming very, very important given how things are evolving. And in fact, we have some research working on that. We're also participating in the research because it is still in a very early stage of data evolution. But data is becoming the crux of everything. A decision is driven and made and consumed through data. So that's where I will make as a statement, technology is evolving very, very fast and rapid, but data is becoming most, I would say, fuel or soil of the future technology, or the future e-commerce business, or for the future digital commerce. So I will keep it that way. It's not how come, how much is what we should say now, because everybody is into it now. If they're not into it, they're also out of the business as we speak. So the human and digital and data is becoming very, very crucial and very, very, I would say, the triangular form of connecting the dots. Like, for example, if you take the cars, the self-driven cars, where it analyzes the driver behavior, and that is captured in information. Then the roadways which the car is plying on a road, the road information is captured by the car, and the car information is also captured within. So it has all three information about the driver, about the road, about the car itself. Then it can actually make a decision. And imagine if you are driving in a regular road, and you have a pattern of maybe stopping for a coffee or stopping for a food, maybe when you're going back home, or maybe onto your office. So it reads all of that and captures the information, keeps it for within itself, and then it projects the information back to the merchants or to the data providers or the data consolidators, and that information captured back and stored into the car. Edge computing is what we say. That information captured, that information is given to real time through the driver into the car to say, you know what? Maybe Ranga, you may want to stop the car now and take a break and drive, have a coffee and drive. And it also understands to an extent what you like it. And maybe if there's an anniversary, I'm just giving examples, right? If there's an anniversary or a very important event in your life, it captures that information off the stores in, and you know what it will ask you. Hey, dude, have you Siri or whoever, the edge computing, the voice interface mechanism the car has, it can ask you, is going to be your anniversary today. Did you buy anything for your wife or spouse? So that could be, to that extent, it is becoming personalized data interaction with an IoT-driven car, right? So everything is converging into, there is no kind of an So like generative AI and the single source of truth and IoT and the personal information is all getting stored in a common store, and everything is becoming real time. Almost as you drive, you know what is required for you, and the car is trying to teach you what you need to be taking it. And the same thing, it is also able to personalize your family side of it and your professional side of it. To that extent, the information is captured and stored and evolved, and decision is made and given you as an advice or a solution or a suggestion for the end user as like you and me. So there is no differentiation between human aspect of it or the digital aspect of it or a machinery aspect of it. Everything is converging now. And in fact, I did saw a real-time operating model of a fridge in a home, where fridge gets all the information of what is stored inside the fridge. It could be maybe 4 liters of milk, or maybe some cookies or some yogurts or some ice creams or some groceries or vegetables. Everything is stored, and it sees a pattern how much is stored inside the fridge, and it knows when it is getting used up, and when maybe a 4-liter milk is becoming 2 liter, it has a capability of ordering the milk through an app, and you can go talk to the grocery and it orders, and milk is delivered back to the home with a chip saying that you have less milk in the fridge, go please store it back into the fridge. To that extent, things are evolving from the human aspect to the digital aspect and the IoT aspect of it. That's where the data is playing a huge and crucial role. It is all becoming completely converging the human technology and the digital and the data. So that's where things are evolving, and it is going way beyond what we expected. And we are seeing, when we talk working with the customers, both real time and some of the research side of it, we are seeing that in an evolving state. Working with some big, like the top automobile experts, experts in the world, and some of the pharmas and all of that. Everything is revolving around data and IoT and the individual pattern, physical pattern, medical pattern. Everything is converging and to form an information, which is where the data is becoming very, very crux and the center of decision making and fuel of the world and the future. In fact, I'm actually currently in Chennai, and there was a article which I read, and I really saw the real-time data where even this has been implemented in Hyderabad. So the traffic information is actually recorded and captured live, and based on the traffic condition of the road and the time and the place, it can reroute in an artificially intelligent way. It's a real-time rerouting of the traffic, which is happening. Imagine the kind of roads that we have in Indian condition, right? Some of the roads are really good, some of the roads are very average, some of the roads are very, very bad. So with that kind of a setup, and the mornings and the evenings, the traffic condition can be read, because morning the traffic is very heavy because of the schools and colleges and offices, and evening same thing, right? People go back home. So between maybe morning 7:30 to 10 and evening between 4:30 to 8, this AI can be implemented, and it is getting implemented now as we speak, and this is becoming real, which is something which could have never thought of. And your route could be different every day that you get onto it. The map will tell you this is the route that you have to take because the road is congested here. And this is one side of the regular information. Imagine if there's going to be some event happening, maybe Prime Minister is landing into a particular city where the whole routing could be rerouted. The roads can be rerouted. This information could be on top of the existing information. An algorithm will be applied, and the routing will happen based on that. And there may be a message coming to you saying that, you know what, instead of you starting at 4:30 from office, you may want to start at 5:30, and maybe you're driving till be half an hour. Or maybe you want to start 4 o'clock so that you can go early when you can avoid the traffic and reach home pretty faster so that you can be productive at home maybe as soon as possible. That is one side of it, right? Another side of it in the medical, the whole medical pharma is evolving very, very big time. And India has the most information. I could read that and in some of the states in India has collected more patient information. And that information, if it can be used in the right way and stored in the right way in a single source of truth where the information can be stored, we can make a predictive disease management, which could help a lot of patients to avoid certain disease even coming onto them. And this could definitely happen in India because of the volume of data that we have in the medical, which is going to be very, very huge benefit for the people in India, and government can use a huge aspect of it. I just picked up this transport and also the medical information. It can go on and on and on, right? It could be on the whole transport. Like imagine if the same artificially intelligent routing mechanism for a train route can be managed, no accidents will happen. Like the one very recently that happened, it's very, very sad to see such incidents still happen in India, right? If only we have managed through that artificially intelligent routing mechanism through a single source of truth, the whole railways can be managed completely with unmanned. And that's to that extent we can evolve. We have the technology, we have the infrastructure. It is only the application that can evolve this whole transport into a next level, which can compete with the rest of the world. I just picked the medical transformation, and not to forget this whole education side of it, right? It is evolving big time. And there is never ending education. Though one of those is we have to go to the college or to the school to actually do a physical in-person training. Like I have a son who's in third year studying BTech computer science. I'm forcing him to go to a school when he is going to the school, my college now. I'm forcing him to upskill himself to go to a training center. He says, no, I don't want it. I want to study in my own way. And I have the data. We have so many platforms to study, starting from YouTube to Coursera and Udemy, so much. He says, I'll figure out what is required for me. And I have an option. I can learn in Hindi, I can learn in Tamil, I can learn in English, whatever language I wanted, and in his own pace of time. To that extent, digital learning is gone. And I believe now the schools have to compete with the digital learning, where kids are now wanting to learn in their own style, which is relevant for them, what is relevant in the industry. So to that extent, education is also evolving, which I see is a completely and welcoming thing. We all have to be supporting that. Yeah, I can go on and on picking each domain, but these four are very critical and important for our as we speak, as the lives are changing, these four is very, very critical for us. Again, I wanted to reiterate, we're already there. And India is one of the leading countries, like the UPI, right? The rest of the countries are struggling to have a common platform in the payment side of it, where India has one completely evolved payment platform, and we have digitally transformed the whole payments. Imagine if you can use digital platform for spending 5 rupees. I still remember I used to work for one of the largest payment company in the world, where they're hesitant into getting into India because it's a volume-based, not a value-based, because it's a $1 investment, they need to get $2 back, or what they need to have a return on investment. In India, it is a volume-based because the volume of transaction is very high rather than the value. But currently, UPI, the platform, the payment platform that we have, it has demystified that. So it is not just a volume game, it is a value game. Now, every transaction, to a 5 rupee transaction, even a 2 rupee transaction can go in UPI, using UPI through all the other digital banking that is evolved, be it Paytm or even the banking, their own payment solutions, is using UPI as a platform, which is a super duper evolved digital transformation in the world. We all should be very proud of what we have achieved. And now rest of the countries, even the developed countries, are not there yet. I'm not even demeaning any countries, but the way they evolved is different. The way they have to evolve now is very different, but we have evolved. We have this advantage of crossing over the legacy. Now we're directly into the latest cutting edge technology and the solutions, which the European countries, and even the North American countries, and even a lot of Asian countries are trying to mimic what we are doing in UPI. and trying to replicate that as. I'm using that as an example because that is a core base. Payment is a core base evolution in the digital transformation which India has evolved. It's a great thing. And using that, if you actually package things on top of it, you can only get a lot better and better and better. Imagine all the banks have an application. Gone out those days. How many times have you gone to the bank in the recent past? I've never gone to the bank at all in the last 1 year. Everything is through a digitally managed banking application and powered by UPI. Every bank, even the government banks like SBI, Punjab National Bank, and the public sector banks and the private banks like ICICI, IDFC, all the banks have completely evolved in the digital payment side of it, which is a crux of it and core of it. And that's the base for any country's growth, where if payment can be completely digital, everything can evolve on top of it. So in that way, I think we're already there, and banks have gone completely digital. And if you take the groceries and the e-commerce solutions, which even the basic, even middle-class homes are using, I'm using Amazon as an example, right? There are lots more than that. Amazon for even buying maybe 1 liter of water, right? Or maybe coconut oil, or maybe cereals, or maybe rice. Everything is becoming digital now. So it is evolved. It is only the sustenance and the growth. How can you manage the e-commerce as such, and manage the growth and manage the security wall around it is going to be a challenge, which we have to be thinking about it. Because the volume, we have shown to the rest of the world that India can manage the volume, and along with it, value also. Now we know really what is the strength of economy only because of the payment platform that we've created. So we are evolving, and India is gaining a lot of momentum in the digital transformation, digital business methodology, and digital platform. And we have to use this to take it to the next level. And if you see all the tolls, right, for example, right, imagine the number of vehicles, everything is digital. And that is a good response from the digital transformed economy that we are evolving into. And we are not even evolving, we are leading in that space. So we have to really feel very proud of it and take it to the next level so that we feel we are in control and we continue to grow.